That is the sound of a distracted, divided, and dead American until they hear. Battle for Freedom, triggering change, one heartbeat at a time. Welcome, everyone. This is Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo 50 Radio, and I'm glad that you are joining me. Oh, we are in this final, what is it, the second to last week of December, and we have Christmas on the horizon. For those of you, my website's www.battle4freedom.com. From there, battle4freedom.com. I want you to share this out with as many people as you possibly can. And then I also want you to do me a favor to go to mojo50.com. If you can, please, mojo50.com, because of the fact that this is how I'm able to speak to you and so many other different shows so that you can hear. If it's early in the morning, you probably just finished listening to Rocky Stucci in the Situation Room. If it's in the afternoon, you just finished listening to Right Now with Jim Dawes. You would know that if you went to mojo50.com/schedule to see the different options that are available to you. There are other people who decided that what they want to do is they wanted to go to facebook.com/Mojo50 Radio and leave a comment there. I see Brian, Linda, Sarah, and Lep, all part of the broadcast early today. So share it out with as many people as you possibly can. And so here we are, and Heidi, thank you for joining. As we get into this final, we're 4 or 5 days away from Christmas. And this is going to be very exciting as we watch everything that goes underway for this week. So please do me a favor, if you can, wake up and this is what you we have a lot in store for you today. We have a lot for you in store today, and I'm sharing this thing you see on the video screen. And for those of you who don't know, the title of this program today is called Sex, Lies, and Videotapes. What are we hiding? Sex, lies, and videotapes. What are we hiding? I go down this route right now because of the fact that, here we are on the tip of, no pun intended, on the tip of so many different things being exposed in this country. You had everything with the Wiener laptop. We had everything that they were finding out with Hunter Biden. We had everything we hear about, the president's escapades and everything like that as we continue to move on in a route of sex, lies, and videotapes. I remember when that movie came out, and I did see it when it was in the movie theaters. You had, James Spader and an interesting list of people in this video. And I remember it was so taboo of everybody considering that movie. Oh my goodness, sex, lies, and videotapes. And then I remember even too, at that particular time when the movie came out, everybody there, it was almost like it was taboo to talk about it and how far are we going to push the envelope. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, we've pushed the envelope further. We've done everything we can to push the envelope farther, however, whatever the way you want to use, on just this idea of what can we put on TV. Netflix is always pushing the boundaries on what we can do, and I'm sitting here wondering, hey, what's next? Sometimes I don't even want to ask what's next, because of the fact that we literally figure out a way to pervert things at its highest level. We do these things. Thank you, Tyler and Jill and Josh, for joining. Yes, Brian, it was a very, very weird movie, but I'm not going to lie to you. There's another weird movie that's out there that you have to understand, and it's from some of the actors that come back. And you're thinking, like, why in the world did you do that movie? And sometimes when I look at some of the different movies that are out there, sex, lies, videotapes, one of the ones that really gets me, and I think about this one was, you remember when, what was it, Halle Berry did, was it Monsters Ball? And, a lot of us, we were like, oh my goodness, I can't believe she did that. The sex scene well, first we thought it was really crazy with Sharon Stone in, what was that? Oh my goodness. Come on, help me. Sharon Stone and Michael Douglas. Was it what was the name of that movie? Someone help me here. Then there was a indecent proposal with Woody Harrelson, and there was a Demi Moore, and you see these different movies that they have out there where we keep pushing the limits. Sex, lies, and videotapes. Well, I saw a movie with John Cusack and Nicolas Cage, and it's called Frozen Ground. It's a very disturbing movie. It's a very disturbing movie that actually came out in 2013. And just letting you know, it's rated R. It's a rated R. Fatal Attraction. Thank you, Sarah. No, Basic Instinct. Basic Instinct is the movie. Thank you, Raquel Lee, part of the crew. Okay, so when I told you to go to Facebook, when I told you to go to mojo50.com/schedule, you'll find out that Raquel teams up with Fish on a broadcast called Room 13. You need to check it out with Raquel Lee, and trust me, you'll enjoy it. It's part of our lineup. Excellent talent. Excellent people that we have on this network called Mojo 50 Radio. Freedom, free speech, and just free thoughts that are just out there just to challenge what you think and where just your lineup of your week. So please do me a favor. She thought it was Con Air. You know what? That's close. There were a lot of movies. It's interesting to find more and more movies that they're putting together. But this movie called Frozen Ground, Frozen. Now I can't stop the rolling of the R's. Frozen Ground, with John Cusack and with Nicolas Cage. It's very troubling because of the fact that it deals with a real life story, real events. Good morning, Carolyn. Thank you for being part of the program. You sit here and you watch this thing. When you when you see the series Frozen Ground, but I just want to set the stage so you understand. It's a rated R movie. So I should have expected. I should have looked at the ratings before starting to watch a movie. So they go into a couple of strip clubs in the movie. So if you can zip through those scenes and get past that. And good morning, Carrie. Thank you for. Thank you for joining and being part of this. But it was very strange because this is a real story about a serial killer in Alaska where, he killed at least 17 and upwards of hundreds of women. And, you sit here and, the police don't want to believe it. People were hiding what he was doing. The law enforcement didn't even want to bring up the situation because the cases were closed. They didn't want to go there. And you sit there and you have to wonder why sometimes law enforcement doesn't want to ever entertain opening up a cold case file or whatever. When we sit here and we wonder why is it that law enforcement did not want to pursue, why the DOJ did not want to pursue Hunter Biden, because it wasn't just a couple of months ago that they knew about the Biden laptop. It wasn't just a couple of months ago that they knew about what was going on there. They knew back in the spring. As COVID-19 was taking off, they knew exactly what was going on. And, right now, every last one of us, we're like, come on, expose all the information. End this travesty called, the farce of an election with all the voter fraud and everything like that. We're eager to expose all these different people, Ghislaine Maxwell and everything from Pedo Island and, John Roberts, he's been on the flight logs of Epstein Island. We're so eager to get this information out. But do you realize when I say sex, lies, and videotapes, what are we hiding? I say that because of the fact that for the last 4 years, Democrats have been eager to put all their attention, all their energy on finding the negative and exposing all these different things about President Donald J. Trump, the 45th president of the United States of America. And meanwhile, while we're doing this, literally on January 5th of 2017, when the previous administration, Barack Obama, should have been really focusing on the transitions, they were transitioning into a coup. They were transitioning into another coup to investigate, U.S. citizens, presidential candidates, and do everything that they can to derail. Why? Because of the fact that he was exposing the draining of the swamp. Everybody is so focused on the draining of the swamp happening one way, No one wants to think about the idea of draining the swamp happening exactly the same way around as us, because we're in the swamp. See, so we're in the sink. You know, the whole idea of don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, we're in the tub. We're in the muck, we're in the foam and the dead skin and all that stuff that has to go down the drain. Thanks, Jen, for joining. As we sit here and I say sex, lies, and videotapes, what are we hiding? Because of the fact that I think that we've put all of our energy and focusing in everyone else's direction, and we didn't think the cameras would turn back on us. Kind of like, what was it, that guy who was pleasuring himself during that video conference, and he didn't think anybody would be looking? He didn't think anybody would actually spend the time to figure out exactly what he was doing. And lo and behold, he's having fun. All these people who keep thinking, hey, it's not going to happen to me. Hey, I'm not going to get busted. Hey, I'm going to keep doing whatever I want to do because there are no consequences to my thing. I'm going to have everybody focusing on everyone else and not focusing on me. And I'm saying that we need to be very cautious because of the fact that we're about to be exposed. We're about to be we're about to be busted. We're about to be exposed. I tell you that literally it's insane. You have to pray. You have to pray about this movie if you choose to watch Frozen Ground, because there's levels of it that's very troubling when you watch this, because he literally the guilty person in this really believed that they were going to get away with murders. And right now, a lot of us, because of the fact that we don't like the results of the election, we don't like the results of the liberal progressivism taking over our country. We have the antagonist, we have the villain that we put all our energies on. And I'm trying to let us all know that we need to look in the mirror. We need to look in the mirror of God's word and recognize that we are villains ourselves. Yes, Jen Leah Butler. Sin is deceptive. The deceiver makes us think that we won't get caught or it isn't that bad, so we're enticed. Most definitely. Most definitely. Tubin. Yes. Tubin. He didn't think he was going to get caught. He didn't think he was going to get busted. And sometimes I really believe that we carry on being so what's the word for it? We are so not vindictive. We are so enamored. We are so charged. We're so zealous to expose all these evils that we don't wonder whether or not God's going to expose the evil on our own hearts. Does this mean that we remain silent against the evil that's going out there? No. By no means. But let us not take celebration and wanting to see people fail or people be uncovered and not realize we're also about to exact that same judgment. We're about to exact that same penalty upon ourselves. It's just a humbling thing. And if you can't process what I'm trying to tell you right now, take a listen to to New Life Holistic.
Does your mind seem like it often shuts down before it even starts? Sounds like you need to detox to improve your health in body, mind, and spirit. I'd like to tell you about New Life Holistic. It is an amazing therapy process that uses neurofeedback and biofeedback for many issues that ails everyone. New Life's method and approach to health, balance, energy, and vitality is what sets it apart from anything you have experienced ever before. Call 1-833-4-BIO-LIFE and tell them Watson from Battle4Freedom had sent you. One more thing. Give them the code MOJO50 and save $50 off of your first session. The consult is free. New Life Holistic.
New Life Holistic. You know, one of the other areas where I think it's sex, lies, videotapes, what are we hiding? Over the past weekend, you know, a lot of people were getting their shots and everything like that, right? One of the things that thought was interesting is because we posted the videos, we posted the pictures of this, and now Facebook, the fact checkers, are taking the pictures down. You saw Nancy Pelosi getting her vaccine shot with the orange tip still on the needle. Let's see. There was another person who was getting the shot. There's video footage of this person getting a shot last week, and you saw that the gray needle cover was still on the needle. The thing was depressed. The plunger, the syringe was already depressed, but what they did was they sat there making it seem like they were doing something for the person getting the needle thing there, and they did this. They tapped it, but you couldn't tap it any further. And so you sit here and everybody else, oh, well, look, we're going to get the vaccine. We're going to do this. We were going to show this. But when you slow down the videotape and you start looking at what's going on, we're finding out how deceptive these people really are. So I have to ask a question. Even the second person who got it, there was nothing in the syringe when they took the shot. Go look at the videos of the people who are getting shot. And then Dominic Izzo, who comes on 7 p.m., brought up something very... So 7 p.m. Monday through Friday Eastern Standard Time. Dominic Izzo on the Rants of Izzo. He posted something the other day. He says, "What's the status of that nurse who passed out after getting the shot? What's the status of that person? Because the story is that she had an aversion to blood, and it's a sickness that makes her pass out at the sight of blood, but no one knows where this person is." This is very interesting to be exposed, because if she is sick or she's passed away, or she's died because of the vaccine, because now we hear that up to 3 people from the same hospital last week, from the same place, frontline workers who took the shot, who didn't have a history of bad reactions, or having bad reactions to the first round of the Pfizer. So they give you the disclaimer, hey, just so you know that there may be some people, if you have a history of suffering anaphylactic shock, be prepared that you could have something, that we may tell you to hold off and wait for a few more versions to come out of this thing here. What are you trying to hide? Why are you trying to lie? Why are you trying to deceive us? They're putting on a show, all for show, Belinda. That's correct. All for show. But then I have to ask myself, and I ask you, I want you to ask yourself, I want you to literally probe yourself. As this Friday, we celebrate the birth of the Christ child. It's not about the gifts. We all focus so much on the gifts and everything like that. But what we really don't seem to understand, and even tonight, as you prepare to watch for this amazing star that's coming out at dusk, please remember that it's not about even the star. It's about the child who's going to be born to die for us. Us. Every last human being who is a sinner. The Word of God says all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. So that means that even though we may be angry at the Jews and the Romans who killed Jesus, understand, we killed Jesus too, because he died for our sins. Your sin, my sin, everyone's sins. He covered them on the cross. So the reason why I say I try and help us understand as we have this discussion here is because of the fact that I think that while we are fighting forces of evil out there, let's not forget about the evil that's in our own hearts. Let us not forget about the evil that's in our own hearts. Let's get into one of the different things that's out there right now, because this one, again, this is pure evil. So Biden is considering cyber attacks on Russia's infrastructure in retaliation for the Pearl Harbor of hacks that breached 200 U.S. federal agencies and firms, as fired DHS security chief Chris Krebs admits his failure to stop it. Now, just on the idea of just the title alone about Biden wanting to go to the war. Now, you remember when we had 9/11. You remember how all the black people who hated Bush back then, because Bush lied, people died. They were saying that Bush took us into a war because he was angry that they went after his daddy. So can we say that Biden is angry because we went after his son, so we need a war that Biden's going to bring us into to keep us distracted from from Hunter's laptops? Are we about to be brought into a war? Because listen, the last president we have, he has not taken us into war. This is, if I'm correct, if everything is reported correctly, this is the first president who has not started a war in the last almost, 40 years? Has not started a war. And the very first thing the alleged president-elect is saying, he wants to start a war with China. Weren't you guys angry about the tariff wars that President Trump led us into to try and basically take control back in our country, to have America first and everything like that? So why in the world would we want to attack? You remember the question, why in the world would we ever want to go to war with China? So are you guys going to ask Joe Biden the same questions? Huh? Are you going to ask Joe Biden the same question? Because is this a distraction? Is this basically the sleight of hand and, oh, we're going to war with China, so that we don't have to worry about dealing with the corruption that is going to happen in my administration, in the administration I was in even before this administration, current administration came in? What's going on in my family and because it's not only him of people who are being exposed for their roles of what they do and how they process the idea of corruption and everything like that. Oh, whoop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo. And we run into another Biden on the scene. And folks, it's really funny as you sit here and you watch this stuff come to pass. I love when stuff like this happens, because the fact that when you have the insanity, as God continues to show us ourselves, we never recognize how hypocritical we are. And God's going to expose every last one of us. Every last one of us. I never bring this broadcast to you. I never bring the points I bring to you without understanding that I'm pointing at myself, and I have to be challenged by the very truths that I share with you here. So I'm praying that we really get this message. When I say sex, lies, and videotapes, and I ask, what are we hiding? What are we hiding? What are you hiding? What am I hiding? God is basically going to expose us. We put him on the cross. We put him on the cross. And God's not finished with us yet. This humbling process called COVID-19 and restrictions and so much more, and now vaccinations that may become mandatory. It's not over yet. Here's another person who plays a part in this thing that really disgusts me, because Romney wants to be a part of this narrative now, where he's saying Romney warns Russian cyber attack could cripple U.S. electricity and water supplies, as he condemns Trump for refusing to blame Putin and says the response must be of like magnitude or greater. So here we go, folks. You remember when everybody said that Donald Trump was a warmonger and he was going to bring us to war? We were going to go to war with North Korea. That didn't happen. We were going to go to war with China. That didn't happen. We were going to go to war with Russia. That didn't happen. All the different things. And now McCain's gone. So Romney's replacing McCain, because McCain, he was a warmonger. Everybody knew that McCain was a warmonger. They knew he loved war. They knew John Bolton loved war. The president doesn't love war. And now the people are being exposed for who they are, what they've been hiding all along. Sex, lies, and videotapes will continue in a moment. Let's go to a break. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle4Freedom. Talk to you on the flip side. From COVID to lockdowns, to riots, to elections, 2020 has been nothing but a constant withdrawal for people around the world, and especially the United States. It's not only the mental and spiritual withdrawals, but the financial ones as well. Many businesses are closing their doors because of the lockdowns and no income. Sadly, many Americans are finding locks placed on the doors of their homes because of foreclosure due to the loss of income from extreme lockdown measures. Total Money Makeover does not prevent the pain. It attempts to proactively mitigate in the risk of financial failure because of these uncertain times. Budgeting is more essential now than you ever could imagine. Now is the time to make certain our finances are in order. Consider ordering Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey today. It is essential. Triggering change one heartbeat at a time. That is the purpose of Battle for Freedom. My biggest challenge is helping people see that they are constantly moving and never settled. They are not settled in life because they are spiritually and mentally homeless. James Otis wrote the following on the writs of assistance in 1761. One of the most essential branches of English liberty is the freedom of one's house. A man's house is his castle. I host Battle for Freedom on Mojo 50 Radio at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday for this very reason. Our homes are tattered because we have made too many allegiances to ideologies and movements solely created to keep us distracted, divided, and distanced from our foundation. Join me on Battle for Freedom, where I trigger change one heartbeat at a time. Battle for Freedom. Welcome back, everyone. This is Watson Prene from Battle for Freedom on Mojo 50 Radio, and I'm glad that you decide to join and be part of this program. A lot of people leaving some awesome comments. They decided to go to facebook.com/Mojo50 Radio, and those are comments that really matter. I am so happy to try and share them and make sure that I do everything I can to let you know there are great minds listening and sharing, and I'm appreciative for every last one of you. I want to talk a little bit more about my being appreciative of you, because we've got something special for you coming at the end of this end of this broadcast. In the beginning, one of the different things I want to share with you, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this one in a minute here too, but don't think that I forgot about American Pride Roasters Coffee.
That's it. I've hit the snooze button a dozen times, and now I have to finally get going. But I'm not going to do this day right if I don't start it off with a cup of American Pride Roasters coffee, the official coffee of Mojo 50 Radio. But I'm not going to lie to you. They have a wide variety of blends, but I'm leaning towards the one that's named after me, Watson's White Chocolate Caramel. You know what? It sounds as good as those words that just rolled off of my mouth. Listen, get it today. AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you, and you want Watson's White Chocolate Caramel Blend to start your day off. Join American Pride Roasters Coffee and Mojo 50 Radio, and most important, Battle for Freedom, as we celebrate the best coffee in the nation, American Pride Roasters.
Yes, American Pride Roasters Coffee, and I'm not done talking about them. I am not done talking about it. I'll get a little bit more into American Pride Roasters Coffee, as well as Watson's White Chocolate Caramel Coffee Blend. You hang in there, you beautiful people. I love every last one of you who are sharing your comments, and we go from there. So as we sit here talking about this idea of corruption and so much more that's been affecting us, and we need to make the change. Again, remember, Sex, Lies, and Videotapes is about the whole idea of us being exposed by believing that we're putting all of our attention on all these wicked forces. I'm not saying the wicked forces don't exist. I'm not saying the wicked forces don't need to be exposed. I'm just saying we need to be prepared for the judgment that's going to come our way because of the hypocrisy that has been a consistency on our part. I think that many of us have become too commonplace with our hypocrisies and our inconsistencies, and I believe it'll be judgment for us. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't like when I'm a hypocrite. I don't like when I'm a hypocrite. I don't like when God exposes me when I read the word of God and I'm challenged by what he has to say. I don't like being exposed. And think about this, because of the fact that there are people who are not just in the government, but in the media and so many other different areas that are in the limelight. You know, remember, Pelosi and them, they didn't want to be exposed. Even now, when we think about Eric Swalwell sleeping with the Chinese agent, who was basically giving all this information, right? Instead of basically saying, yeah, I screwed up there, he says, I want to know who exposed me. I want to know who exposed me. So instead of focusing on the fact that, hey, you were compromised, you did something wrong here, he turns around and wants to put, again, in this habit, and all of us have this habit. I go all the way back to even Genesis chapter 4, where Cain killed Abel. And God's like, where's your brother Abel? He's like, am I my brother's keeper? Am I responsible for him? No, all the while he's guilty. So this whole pattern of us turning around and not being honest about who we are, this has been going on since the beginning of time. It's been going on since the beginning of time, and either way, God still knows exactly what we're doing. God still knows exactly what we're doing. And when you think you're going to get away with this, think twice, because God is going to make certain that everyone knows exactly what's going on in your life. See, here was another person who was busted for their hypocrisy. Here it is. We have, what's this woman's name? Dr. Burks. Dr. Deborah Burks is slammed for hypocrisy after she ignored her own Thanksgiving advice and traveled to her Delaware vacation home with 3 generations of her family from 2 different households. See, this is the thing about it that really gets me, and I think this is something that a lot of us have a right to be angry and bothered by, is that there are a lot of rules, there are a lot of laws and regulations that are being made that they want us to abide by, but they don't want to abide by themselves. Fake vaccine shots, and everything like that that's going on. All these people who need to get this, and and there are people who have already taken the shot willingly, voluntarily taken the shot. Some of them are young. Some of them want to plan a family. And I really pray that for those of you who have taken the shot, and because you're desperate to do this, and you want to have you need to have a family, I'm really praying that you're not sterilized because of this vaccine. I'm really praying that the deceptive people who have lied to us all this time. I'm still struggling with the idea of this vaccine being ready 9 months earlier than Dr. Fauci said it would be. And everybody said, listen to Dr. Fauci. Trump doesn't want to listen. Trump doesn't want to listen to the experts and everything like that. Guess what happened? He said it was going to be out by the end of the year. Guess what happened? It came out by the end of the year. Now, I don't know what barriers or rules or regulations were ignored to make this happen here. But all of you back then who were angry with Trump basically saying it's going to be out this year, y'all silent now. Some of you are the first ones to get, some of you are the first ones to get a shot. What are you trying to hide? What are we trying to hide? Yeah. Jen, you're not the only one who's worried about friends who have to take the vaccine, who are on the front line. I have some who are on the front line as well, too, and it concerns me. It really concerns me. But this avenue of the more and more hypocrisy that we're seeing by a lot of these individuals who claim to be advocates for truth and, justice in the American way, we're finding out. And again, it's not just on the left. Folks, it's us on the right as well too. Let's not get this thing sick and twisted. Let's not keep thinking that God is not gonna. God, I mention him, but I really believe that a lot of us, we've become so comfortable or so familiar with God that we just don't believe he's going to respond to our own hypocrisy. And I really need to understand why. Is it because of the fact that we have not experienced his wrath? Is it because we have not experienced enough pain? Do we need to go down more pain avenues in order to recognize that God is ever present? His justice, yes, his grace is wonderful. His love and mercy is wonderful, but he's still a just God. He is still a righteous God who must keep his name holy, even though our hearts are wicked and unholy. Introspection is one of the most painful things to do and go through. Yeah. Tim saying basically there's more poison in those vaccines than you put in your own car engine. Yeah. It's very scary. Again, I'm grateful for my current afflictions that prevent me from getting a flu shot and so much more. Someone showed this last week. Here's another one that really gets me in terms of sex, lies, and videotapes. What are we hiding? Have you seen the graphs that's out there for flu season? There literally is no flu season this year. It's very negligible. Flu season does not exist. But we have a chart from 2018 and 2019 and 2019 to 2020, but 2020 to 2021, there's like literally no flu. What literally would be the flu for, what would be the markers for the flu season this year has been replaced by COVID. It has been replaced by COVID, and it's strange. How is this so? How is this possible? Yes, I know, Tim. I say literally way too many times. I don't know. It's like I feel like a valley girl. Like, that's me literally. I may have a few other different words I do that I say way too many times. What am I hiding? I have a problem of repeating myself. Sorry, got to bring some laughter to him over here because I feel myself getting worked up, and I'm really trying not to scream today. Because the fact that it's not just screaming at the hypocrites. I'm screaming at us. I'm screaming at us. I'm talking to every last one of us, folks. Folks, please, 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 don't think that we're going to escape God's judgment. Do not think that we're going to escape God's judgment on this one here. I want to do this one here. Yeah, here, let's get into this because it's still in the theme of where we are. So you have GOP leaders right now who are calling, GOP leaders call for criminal investigation into why the FBI and DOJ failed to hand over texts from ex-FBI agent Peter Strzok that referenced the Russia probe before the investigation began. So, Devin Nunes, thank you very much for being consistent on pushing this stuff out there. The reason why they didn't want to show the text because of the fact that they are guilty. They are just as guilty as we are of hiding the very things about us that we don't want the world to know. So let's get into this one passage as Christians that we always take out of context, and even the unbelievers who don't believe in God, but they have no problem in citing this verse. Matthew chapter 7, judge not lest ye be judged. So if this whole passage, this whole thing about this whole broadcast about sex, lies, videotapes, what are we hiding? This gets into judge not lest ye be judged. Because it's like, okay, so if you're going to go on this campaign of exposing evils and wickedness and everything like that, just God's saying, be prepared, be ready for the TV screen to come up on your head, on the back of your mind, on the front of your heart, in the front of your mind, so that people can see exactly what's boiling, what's bubbling in your heart, in your soul, in your body, and everything that just matters there. The GOP leaders, there's some GOP leaders who have nothing to hide. And I'm grateful for the ones who have walked in integrity. And, we won't find them on Epstein log. But I do call out those who have wanted to be fiscally responsible and have voted on bills. Like now they're about to put out another stimulus bill here. We're gonna get, some of us adults, some people gonna get half the money that they got last time around. But hey, let's give the American people more money. That again, where's this money coming from? This money that's not supposed to be taxed. It's coming from us. We're taking another loan out on us instead of. Do you realize this people's lives were failing because of lockdowns, shutdowns, and everything like that? Something I've been saying for a long time, and I know we could do better in our family as well too. How are we living? How are we budgeting? How are we preparing for worst case scenarios? What sacrifices are being made so that, you know what, how are you living like no one today so you can live like no one tomorrow? I know you don't want to hear about Dave Ramsey. I know you don't want to hear about this, but do you realize that if we are working on paying off our bills, okay, we're just debt snowballing. We're getting rid of our bills. We take off the small ones first, and then we work our way up to the big ones. Get the stuff paid off, and we stop using credit cards and areas like that, and not going from month to month on getting the stuff paid off. It just snowball best as you possibly can. Why? Because the moment that you get to that point where you're debt free, that extra money that you were putting into paying off your debt can actually go into savings. Now, before you even start the debt snowball process, Dave Ramsey will tell you save up $1,000. Have $1,000 in the bank to cover emergencies. To cover emergencies, that you have that sit there so that it doesn't have to break your normal pattern of what you do in your budget. You have money to set aside. Those rainy day funds. We've talked about, I don't even hear people talk about rainy day funds anymore because of the fact that we're too busy trying to have fun. We're too busy trying to have fun. And you know what? COVID-19, it really exposed us. It really exposed the recklessness that all of us have in our lives. Businesses failing, homes failing, families failing, finances failing, because of the fact that we thought that we could live whatever way we wanted to, and that, you know what? It wasn't going to catch up to us. Life wasn't going to catch up to us. It does. Our actions catch up to us. They really, really do. Sex, lies, and videotapes. As you sit here and you look at the videos, the screen that I use, I put shrink wrap on this. I put shrink wrap on the image because of the fact that there's going to be layers of tape that need to be peeled off to really start seeing that we need to peel layers off in our rebellion against God. We need to pull those protective layers of lies and deceptions that we've had in our lives to make it seem like there's nothing wrong with us. I'm going to let you know, the person talking to you right now, as you listen to me, as you watch me right now, I'm a sinner saved by God's grace. I'm redeemed by the blood of Jesus Christ. I am redeemed. I am saved. So when I say that phrase, redeemed by the blood of Jesus Christ, basically, Jesus was a sacrifice. He literally spilled his blood as an offering back to God. You remember, we understand the concept of the tribesmen in King Kong movies offering the blonde-haired woman to King Kong as a sacrifice to appease the Kong. Well, Jesus Christ was the sacrifice to appease God for our sin, our reprobate lives, our very wicked hearts. That's the sacrifice that was made for us. But don't picture God as some big ape roaring in this mindless ape. No, he is a holy, loving, righteous Lord and King, creator, sovereign, from eternity past to eternity future, that has blessed our lives more than you ever could imagine. And let us not lose sight of that fact, even as we go on our campaigns to expose all the evil. Let us remember that there's evil on our hearts that needs to be exposed as well too. Please, Jen Lay Butler says, basically scripture says, mind your business, focus on your own sin and getting right with God. Yeah, you know what? We yes and no. From this perspective, we need to be basically renewing our minds on a daily basis. Romans chapter 12, verses 1 and 2. But we also, because of our relationship, because we're in the body of Christ, there is personal accountability that we do have. It's accountability that we have to God, and in this family called Christians, we have the ability. Because listen, if you see me carrying on in a way that's not honoring my wife, call me out. If you see me in public and I'm doing something that you know I shouldn't be doing, oh, don't wait. Or don't say, oh, I shouldn't say anything because I don't really know him. If you know me to be a believer in Christ and I'm carrying on in behavior that is unbecoming of a Christian, unbecoming of a follower of Jesus Christ, oh, you have all rights to basically call me out. Please. Yes, you're so correct. Tim mentioned Galatians chapter 6, beautiful passage about restoring individuals. You who are spiritual should restore him in a spirit of gentleness. Yes, a spirit of gentleness. That is so key. Because again, I think even in the thing about this, the sex lies, the videotapes, because of the fact that we have this campaign of exposing all these other different people, and because we want to be the first ones to have the Facebook post, the Twitter post, the Rumble post, the Parlay post, or the MeWe post. So we expose this because we're these frontline journalists. We want to be the first one to get the most likes, the most retweets, the most shares, and everything like that, and maybe get notoriety because we were the first ones to expose some kind of wicked machinations that was going on. We're so quick to expose evil, but we don't want that evil exposed on us. What are we hiding? What, I dare say, are we hiding? See, it gets to the point where this was a thing that I saw on the news, and this one's kind of scary because of the fact that we could delude ourselves all the way to the point that we compromise the lives of the other people who would be involved in this. Check this out. Here's video footage of United passengers ignoring the risk of COVID to perform CPR on a man who died from the virus aboard a flight after lying about his symptoms so he could fly. A man who tested positive for COVID-19 died on a United Airlines flight on Monday. Video shows CPR-trained individuals who are on board rushing to help after the man was unable to breathe. Now, one of the things that's really scary about this is that I'm first aid certified. And so that would be me. If there was no one other person that was responding, I would at least be one of the people there to perform CPR on the person and on the individual. Because that is our role. You get trained for it. Now, you're not obligated to do it. You're not obligated to do it. They're not forcing you, but if you have the wherewithal, if you have the time, if you have the patience to do so, please choose to do this. Because of the fact that in so doing, you show compassion to save a life. And today, as I've been sharing everything with you, I'm trying to have passion and compassion to help you save your life. Right now, stop acting like our sin is something that we can manage and something that we can control. Because if that's the case, the Christ child that we celebrate this Friday never would be born if we could control the sins in our lives. The lust, the lying, the stealing, the adultery, and whatever it is. Whatever it is, whatever your sin is that you think that you have in control, if you truly had control of that sin, the Christ child to be born on Friday would not have been born in the first place. I'm trying to save your life. I really am, and it's very important that you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth. It is key. There's some really good Bible study going on right now in the timeline. If you go to facebook.com/Mojo5 Radio, trust me, you'll appreciate everything that's going on there and what they're talking about. So right about, I'm going to do this here. Yes, can I? Yes, I can. I want to make sure there's enough time as I sit here talking about this. So right about now is when I would be preparing for the attitude of gratitude. And I'm grateful for every last one of you who are listening, who are paying attention, sharing the program out, not just sharing Battle for Freedom, but I also want you to do me a favor. I want you to share Mojo 50 Radio. Please share it out with as many people as you possibly can. And because of your faithfulness, I want to do something here that I call, I don't have a banner for you for this. Oh, no, I do actually. I do have it. Here you go. It's not the official one, but I'm going to work with it for now. Please work with me on this thing here. The 4 days of Java. On the 4 days of Java, what happens to you? I didn't drink any tea, so those notes might not have been as impressive as they really needed to be. I feel like I sound a little bit like alfalfa there. 4 days of Java. So one of the different things that happens as we get a chance to say our thank you to the people who decided you want to support Mojo 50 Radio, we have, I told you I could be coming back to this. Mojo 50 Radio, APR Coffee, Watson's White Chocolate Caramel Coffee. So I want to do something in the 4 days of Java. So from today, tomorrow, all the way up to Thursday, and I'll just make an announcement on Friday if I have to, or I'll just make a video so that you'll be aware of this. Every day, well, we today's the first day, so we're going to go all the way up to Thursday, okay? I'm asking you to go to mojo50.com/shop. Make a purchase there. Whatever it is that you buy, it doesn't matter. Just make a purchase in Mojo 50 Radio. Why? Because of the fact that we're going to enter you. Well, this is what Battle for Freedom is doing. I don't know what the other shows are doing, but this is what I'm doing as a means of thank you for listening to Battle for Freedom. Thank you for supporting it. And for those of you who are coffee lovers, you're really going to enjoy this thing here. If you have made a purchase at Mojo 50, I want you to do me a favor and understand you've been entered into a raffle, and show hosts are available to be part of this raffle as well too. So you could be a show host who gets this. So you will win because on the 4 days of Java, you will get yourself a bag of Watson's White Chocolate Caramel Coffee. Not only that, but wait, there's more. Not only will you get a free bag of Watson's White Chocolate Caramel Coffee from American Pride Roasters Coffee, the official coffee of Mojo 50 Radio, I will also give you a signed copy of the first edition of my Stone's Heart book. I will give you a signed copy and mail both of them to you so that you know how much I appreciate you for listening to me on Battle for Freedom, but I also really appreciate you being a listener for Mojo 50 Radio and sharing it out. So the first day we have someone who's already selected. So on the first day of Java, this is who gets the prize. Megan Price. Megan Price, shipping out on Saturday. We will send this book and this coffee to you to say thank you for being a Mojo 50 listener, follower, sharer, a super spreader of Mojo 50 Radio. So we're celebrating super spreaders, and this is exactly what we're going to do. So as we sit here, now, listen, so for tomorrow's announcement, you have until midnight, 11:59 and 59 seconds Pacific time today to get in an order on Mojo 50 Radio /shop. And when you get that in there, I will announce tomorrow who is the second person on the second day of Java. What you'll get from me. A signed book and some coffee. Folks, this is how much we enjoy doing this, and we This is so much fun. Yeah, I want to do a jingle, and so listen, make a purchase. Now you only win once. You only win once because you are not qualified on the next few days. This is a chance, and if you win, and you're not a coffee drinker, give it to someone you know who would really enjoy it. And so again, you're getting the coffee and the book, all for being an awesome listener to Mojo 50 Radio. Go to mojo50.com/shop. Go there now. Now, up next will be Brad Staggs and Daily Mojo. If you're listening in the morning, and then if it's in the afternoon, it will be Critical Thinking with Andrew Coppins and Pat Oney. Just go to mojo50.com/schedule. Learn all the different people who are out there. I'm your host, Watson Prunier for Battle4Freedom. I'm out. On the fourth day of Java. La, 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 la.